show is sponsored by HiveMind CRM. It is more than just a CRM. It is a real estate and business mastermind that comes with an all-in-one CRM. You can have unlimited websites and users. You can call, text, RVM, and email all in one user interface. And you can set up custom automations for any type and multiple businesses. 65% of companies start using a CRM system within the first 5 years of business. Once implemented, the HiveMind will save you on marketing, give you more time, and make more money. One of our users had his first $100,000 month using our system in June. We want to see you automate and accelerate your business. Text us at 210-972-1842 for future meetings, and of course to get our $1 course on how to make more than 6 figures on one land deal. You can schedule your free demo today at HiveMindCRM.io.
Welcome to today's show of the Hive With Us podcast. This is our segment we call Meet the Hive, where it's a bird's eye view of some of our clients and what they're doing and what parts of markets they're doing. And we're just talking business, real estate, and life. Covered a lot of different things. We're here today. We have a special guest, Mr. Evan Scott, out of LA. And I met Mr. Evan Scott, I want to say December. It was at a Sub2 meetup with Pace. And we're just networking. And that's how we ended Mr. Evan here. I'm going to stop saying Mr. because that sounds really retarded. And I feel like I'm 13. But I met Evan here about 9 months ago. It feels like maybe 10 months ago. And it's been interesting. So, Evan, let's always talk about how did you end up in real estate? Because that's always like a weird journey. And are you still a 9-to-5er? Because I think last time I spoke to you, you were.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for having me on, Daniel. I appreciate it. Yeah, I still work a 9-to-5 job, and I got into real estate. You know, it's kind of it started off kind of weird. My wife was pregnant back in 2020 in her second trimester, and we lost the kid, and it was so she had to have the baby removed, and it was very depressing time. And at the time, my wife and I listened to a lot of true crime podcasts, and true crime podcasts can be kind of dark, you know, and we were already in a dark state of our life. And I said, listen, I can't listen to true crime anymore. I need to listen to something else. So I started listening to real estate podcasts, tuned into Bigger Pockets. I started listening to some multifamily podcasts. And the more I listened, the more I realized, like, hey, people are doing this all over the world, everyday people just like me. And there's no reason why I can't do this. And so that began the real estate journey. And I gotta wrap that up by saying, since that has happened, we have a 1-week-old right now at the house. We just had her August 10th. It's our daughter, Peyton Sky Scott. And we're very blessed, you know, and it's amazing how it worked out. She was born on my birthday. So my birthday is August 10th and my wife's birthday is August 11th. So it really is like the best birthday gift ever. We're really blessed and happy.
That's amazing, man. Congratulations. I've lost a child too, so I know exactly what you're going through. And it's a crazy transition point. So sorry about that. I didn't know that previously, but things happen and you always have to move on and adjust and adapt. So you got me with that one.
Yeah.
Oh man, one thing I really appreciate you coming on the show in general is just because you're a product of podcasting, and I think it's a big circle to come full circle when you were like, man, I listened to podcasts and I was stuck listening to that. Now I'm here, like they're on a podcast now, so it's always cool to hear those type of stories because I'm the same way. I'm a product of podcasting, and now I have my own show, so it's kind of like you got to get back to the community in some way, in our own way. So it's kind of cool to contribute.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I want to take a second too I really appreciate what you do. And the thing that I really liked about you when I met you is as I noticed that you're about adding value to other people. You really focus on how can I add value to these people and how can I serve? And I really appreciate that. You're not looking, what I got from you when I met you is like, you're not really looking for, oh, what can these people do for me? You really are looking to see how you can add value and be a blessing in other people's lives. And so, Daniel, I'm really glad that I met you, and I really appreciate you and the hustle that you have, man. It's amazing.
Well, man, I appreciate that. Side note, this isn't about me, but I got a sidebar myself. But I got to sidebar you on this one. But I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the kind words. For me, it's a lot to. There's so many people that take from everybody. They take from the world. They take from every stranger they can. They just take. And for me, it's like you can't really make an impact if you're taking. You always got to be doing the opposite, giving. So I'm always trying to find different ways to give back to the community or just give in general. And like I like doing things that are recorded because I know I can give it infinitely. So this one call that we're doing, it's going to be out there for 10, 15 years, maybe even after I die, somebody's listening to this episode and they can still be receiving something from this episode and some type of information, which is why I like recording content in general, just because it's evergreen. So who knows when you listen to this episode, if it's 2030 or 2040, who knows? There's some hoping you get value from this, and like I said, that's why I like recording my content, because you don't record it just disappears and you forget it ever happened.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a good point.
So, and side note, for me, like a lot of what I do right now, I hope my kids will go back and listen to all the stuff that I did while they were young, and they're like, "Oh, I remember my dad used to be in the room recording, and he always locked the door, and like he always used to do that." And like, oh, let me go listen to those episodes. So I hope my kids get like some type of interest with that, because like they've seen both sides of it. They've seen the inside, and now they actually see visually watch it. So right now, I know they don't understand, but hopefully one day they will.
Yeah, I know. Like, think back 100 years ago, people wrote in their journals, and then, the kids would inherit that stuff and read but we got video now, so, kids can come back and watch your content, and it's awesome.
So we really went on a tangent there, but so you still have a 9 to 5, you're still in multifamily. One thing, the reason why I really want to dig into that you have a 9 to 5, a lot of people, they get stuck on, if I have a 9 to 5, I can't do anything else. And the 9 to 5, it really takes some of your best hours. So let's talk about how you've kind of dedicated either time to learn, time to prospect, time to even negotiate with your 9 to 5, and you still have your whole life going on. You just had a baby. So how do you manage that? Because a lot of people, they struggle with that. Like, if I have a 9 to 5, I can't do anything else.
Yeah, I think the first thing that I had to accept is I got to be willing to do what other people are not willing to do in order to get where I want to be. And so if that means I work my 9 to 5 and then I come home and I had dedicated family time, and then after I put the kids down, I'm on the computer, I'm pulling new lists, I'm looking at potential properties, I'm sending emails to brokers, then that's what you have to do. And again, you just really have to wrap your mind around the fact that it is not an easy journey. If it was an easy journey, everybody would be doing it. And so I kind of accepted that I want to change my path that I'm on. I want to be out of my W-2 job in the next 5 years and be full-time real estate. So I think it starts off with like setting a goal, whether you want to be out in 3 years or 5 years, and then making a plan on how are you going to get there. Each step, what do I have to do to be able to be out of my W-2 job? Also, a lot of people, the thing that's nice about having a W-2 job for the deals that we've closed, it really helps make me more lendable, to be able to get loans and whatnot when I find deals. So that has really helped, having a good W-2 job. I have a cousin who cash flows about $50,000 a month in real estate, and he is probably one of the busiest guys that I know. He runs a construction company, and then he has all his rentals. And what he told me is, he said, don't retire. He's like, you work that W-2 job until you literally have like no time left in the day to do your W-2 and your real estate. And you get to a certain point where you just have to switch over to real estate. And so he encouraged me to keep my W-2 job for as long as possible.
One thing I really want to hit on is having a W-2 is completely a hack if you're trying to get assets, like completely. Me and Anthony literally talked about this last night, because we're both self-employed and like we cannot get loans for nothing. Like, it is ridiculous. So we're always trying to raise private capital. We're always trying to do the hacks to get property and get cash, because we are not lendable. It is hard. It is really, really hard. And like, me and Anthony are like, we need to find somebody who still has a W-2, who's lendable, that would want to work with us, because it's hard up in these streets if you're not you don't have one. And it's crazy how that works, but it's nuts. Like, us as entrepreneurs, like, once you step out of that thing, you have to have 2 years of tax returns before you can even get a FHA loan. and it has to show you make money. So and the other struggle that entrepreneurs have is like they might write off a lot of their income. So now they have no income to show that they're actually making money. And that's what lenders look at. So you really kind of shoot yourself in the foot sometimes as an entrepreneur. You still might be making money, but you shoot yourself in the foot sometimes by not being lendable. And being lendable is huge, 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 huge. So I'll commend you to your friend who recognized that. Like I said, there's so many ways into real estate, and I don't want to knock 9-to-5s. I don't want people to jump in and do that thing. There's so many ways into it, whether you house hack, whether you're buying properties with your W-2 income because you're lendable, or whether you just do straight into wholesale. It doesn't matter which way you go about it. There's no wrong way to get into it. There's 1,000 ways to get into it. It's just find a way that works for you and your family, and I think that's the biggest difference.
Yep, absolutely.
So let's talk about. So you're lendable now. You recently bought a property, and I think I don't know tell us your last acquisition you got.
We closed on a property in Cleveland. It's a 14-unit property. It was a direct to seller property. So I have a virtual assistant. That's one of the things when you work a 9-to-5 job, you have to find a way to leverage other people's time. And so, I have a virtual assistant out of the Philippines, and I pull lists for her, and she calls those lists while I'm at work. Because that's the thing about investing out of state from California. In Cleveland, there's a 3-hour time difference. So by the time I get home, if I get home at 5:00 at night, it's already 8:00. It's kind of late to be calling over there. So I really need to be those people need to be contacted while I'm at work, and it's not fair to my employer if I'm secretly making phone calls during the day. I feel like if you do have a 9-to-5 job, be really good at it and give your employer what they deserve. And so in order to do that, I decided to utilize a virtual assistant, and then I will follow up on my days off with that person, and I don't have to spend hours, calling. And so anyways, we got that direct to seller 14-unit in Cleveland, and it was an out-of-state investor. And what I've found is a lot of the people that we've made contact with, that we've had success with, it's a lot of tired out-of-state owners. And this guy was actually from Pismo, California, and he just had a bad property manager. Property management is huge. It can make or break whether or not you're successful in real estate. And so he had a very bad property manager. That person was stealing from him, was not filling his units as they would go vacant, was not getting max rent. And so yeah, it was a great deal. We ended up picking it up. We closed at $570,000 for this 14-unit. Initially, we went under contract for $650,000, and we kind of just worked it down from there. So yeah, that's actually being remodeled right now. So
that's cool, man. What was the cap rate you bought it at? And was it a lot of vacancies and stuff like that? Let's talk a little bit about the deal.
Oh yeah. So we bought it at a 10 cap. There was actually a lot of vacancies. So that's part of the reason why it went from a $650 purchase price. He was trying to sell it as at a certain amount of occupancy. And when we were doing our due diligence, we got an appraisal. So I think it's really good to get an appraisal in multifamily, because what they're going to do, here's a mistake that people make. People will buy based off of the after repair value. And right now, with the way that the market's going, that is not a great way to buy. People are trying to sell stuff still. I'm still getting stuff from wholesalers that are like, oh, this is what this is going to be after you fix it up. And therefore, they're trying to sell it at a higher price. With a multifamily, it's gonna get evaluated based off of the net operating income. So when they come in to do the appraisal is going to be looking at what is the occupancy right now and how much rental income is coming in, and then what are the expenses, and then that gives you your net operating income. And they're going to base the appraisal on the net operating income divided by the capitalization rate of that area. The great thing about getting an appraisal is it protects you from overpaying for a deal. And that's exactly what happened with us. So
you can use it as leverage to negotiate down.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so to answer your question, like this was so mismanaged, and that only goes so far though, the net operating income, because at some point a building, the property has its base value, right? It's a brick
Yeah.
building, nice brick building. It has a newer roof, it's got newer windows, and that's value in and of itself. So at some point, the net operating income, if it was 0% occupancy, doesn't mean that that it's now just worth nothing. So there was only like 4 people living in this 14-unit apartment.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when we got that, first thing we did was fire the property manager, because we realized that this guy was he was horrible. And so we got our property manager in there. And I think that's another important thing to mention is, if you're trying to get into a certain market, it is really important to start networking and building a team within that market before you get a property. It could be a game changer for you. And so we have a really good property manager who also is a contractor over there in Cleveland. And so she's remodeling those units for us right now. She's already got 5 of those units filled for us, remodeled and filled. And she's got the rents at market rent, which were way higher than what they were. So, yeah. So we're excited.
No, it's exciting because one thing I love about multifamily is you can get a huge upside really quick if you can revitalize it quickly. So fixing it up, getting the tenants occupied, like even after once you turn over all the units and get them rented out, you can get a reappraisal done. And you might make $300,000 just off of creating the NOI and building up the NOI and filling up those vacancies. So it amplifies your purchase, it amplifies your asset just by fixing the problems that are already there. And you can turn a good deal into a great deal just by fixing those issues.
Yeah. So you touched on something really key there. Why multifamily? Well, the nice thing about anything that's 5 units plus, and that's considered, an apartment, its value really is based off of the net operating income. And so in this case, like there's a lot of potential to create more value. The rents are not at market. The expenses, they don't have like low flow sinks, low flow shower heads. So you can decrease your water bill, which will increase your net operating income, which adds value when you get an appraisal. So the nice thing about multifamily, when you're in the single family space, your house is going to be based off of the appraisals of the surrounding area. So what did the last house in that neighborhood sell for? And are within a certain radius, and that's kind of your. But when you're in the multifamily space, what they're looking for is what is the income that is coming in to that property. And there's so many different levers that you can pull to manipulate and increase the net operating income that it really gives you a little bit more control over the value of the property. And the thing that's great about that is it just gives you a lot more levers, and it also gives you a little bit more control over your deal. And, it makes it easier to grow when you're in the multifamily space, So multifamily is great for a lot of reasons, but net operating income is probably the biggest reason why. And that is really what your property is based off of.
So I want to ask you another question, because I think it was a great tip, and I really want to focus in on it, was if you're investing out of state, because you're investing out of state just like that owner was, what's another tip you can give them besides having already a good property manager or contractor in place? Do you have any other tips as far as investing out of state? Because a lot of people are scared of that as well.
Yeah, having a partner. So my partner that I got linked up with already had like 40 units in Cleveland.
Okay.
So it's and you want to know what's crazy is how I met my partner. So if you want to be in real estate, the biggest tip that I can give you is tell everybody that you know. Tell everybody that you know. And you want to know what's funny is I put my email in the chat there, enkinvestors@gmail.com. When I made that email on Gmail, I didn't have a single property. And I got the words investors in there. So my wife's name's Catherine, my name's Evan. So it's Evan and Catherine investors@gmail. And we didn't have a single property, but I made that email because I was going to be reaching out to brokers. I was going to be reaching out to, people, homeowners, seeing if they want to sell. And I wanted to have an email. And so I told myself, And I told my wife, I said, we're going to be investors. And I made that email without us having a single property. And so I started telling everybody. I started telling my cousins, my family, my friends. And I was hanging out with one of my cousins, and I told him what we were trying to do. And he's like, oh, I have a pastor in Santa Rosa, California, and he's buying in Cleveland. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. So we got in contact. We clicked right away. We had the same vision. And the way things kind of worked out is really awesome, because a lot of people think, man, you need a bunch of money to invest in real estate. That's just simply not true. So what I did with this property on this 14 unit, we actually, his dad has a self-directed IRA. And the dad cannot pull the self-directed IRA funds out himself just to buy real estate. He has to vest in a company basically that's buying real estate, and he cannot be a managing member of that company, and neither can any of his linear descendants. So I started a company that invests in real estate with me as the managing member, and we were able to withdraw from his self-directed IRA with that LLC, with that business, and put that money into buying this for the down payment for this property. So,
Nice.
so we bought this property, and I have ownership, in that business. And basically it's sweat equity is what I'm bringing. So this wasn't like an actual like SEC syndication. This was just like I started a business, and then that business bought real estate.
It's a friends and family, not a 506. All that you're not going to the other thing. It's a direct connection, and you're connected directly into the business, so you don't have to follow SEC guidelines.
Yeah, exactly. And so really what I have invested into this is like the virtual assistant cost, which is negligible over the year when I consider the deals. Like I think I'm going to be paying $5,500 for the year to have somebody calling 4 hours a day, six days a week. I mean, it's really negligible. And so, but the point is, I'm going to be with when this property is stabilized, like my cash flow from that deal is going to be around $700 a month. And I don't really have much invested in it other than my time. Right. But I didn't put a bunch of money in that. And so you don't have to be really wealthy to get started in real estate, I guess is the point that I'm trying to make here.
One thing I'm going to hit on is your education is priceless too. Because now you've bought a $500,000 property, you know the steps of going through it, you bought it off market, you've gone through negotiations of getting a loan, like you've done a lot of what nobody will ever do. You've already gone through those preliminary steps. So now you have the ability, like, okay, I already have this mechanism, I already understand the process, you already have the basics understood. So now it's just raising more money at this point to go buy more deals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think here's the other thing the education, I kind of jumped over that. I mean, I spent about 5 months just like reading books. I purchased a $1,500 syndication program, which is actually really, really cheap. There's programs out there that are $30,000 to $50,000, but those have like personal coaches. This was just like a self-study. I read about 3 different apartment syndicating books, and then I went to a Tim Bratz online commercial empire course, and got some really good tips on how to increase your net operating income, and how to remodel when you remodel, what's important in the remodel. A lot of priceless steps, because if you don't pay for it in the education, like if you don't pay for it in the course, you're going to pay for it in real life, in the deal, and it's going to be 10 times more expensive. You're going to find out the hard way, so invest in your learning, invest your time by listening to podcasts and listening to, audiobooks or whatever, but also invest your money in joining some courses. It is definitely worth it and can save you lots of headaches. It's very important.
So let's do a side note here. 60 episodes. We had Tim Bratz, episode 169 on the High School Podcast. Check it out. If you don't know who that is, check out episode 169. And what's cool about this is that now you've been on a podcast that Tim Bratz has been on.
Yeah, it's awesome.
No, it's cool, man. So, what type of deals are you still looking for? More deals in Cleveland, or are you in other markets, or are you just looking for Cleveland specifically? And what type of deals are you looking for in general?
But so one of the things, I just talked about telling everybody. Well, because I told everybody, one of my friends also told these doctors over here in Ventura that I was buying out of state, and they were like, "Oh, we want to invest out of state, but we don't have the connections." And so he gave them my phone number, and they reached out to me. And so between myself and my partner, we got about $2 million kind of pledged to us. So we're just looking for a deal right now to invest that money in. So yeah, so we're looking for deals up to 6 million. We're considering anything that is in a landlord friendly state, Kentucky, Ohio, Texas. So we really are looking like in the Midwest and other landlord friendly states is kind of what we're looking for right now. Preferably things over 16 units. I think right now, I think the market is shifting. And so we're looking for 8 caps, which I know were kind of hard to find before, but they're out there. And I think they're going to be more readily available here in the near future. So yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking for. And again, all this is just because I told people what I wanted to do, and then I read about how to do it. I told people I really want to do this. And the next thing I know, there's money pledged to my partner and I, and it came through like connections. So yeah, make sure you tell people like what you're trying to do,
No, it's such a small, just tell people you're doing it or you want to do it. And I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense. I want to invest in real estate. And I got money. Can you invest it for me?
Yeah.
That's exactly how it works. And it's weird how it works, but it's crazy. There's people out there that are looking to invest their money for people that are actively trying to invest in real estate, and the dots just connect somehow through networking.
Yeah. So the thing that I learned about telling people what you want to do is like 95% of people are going to just have this glazed over look in their eyes. When you tell them what your vision is, when you tell them what you want to do, and it involves real estate. Like I had coworkers that were like, "You're buying a 14 unit out of state? You're crazy. Like, what makes you think you can do that?" And I'm like, nobody told me that I can't. Like, am I not supposed to be able to do this or something, right? And this like 14 units is nothing. Like my vision is that I'm someday syndicating these $30 million, 300 plus, apartment buildings. So I'm just in the baby steps right now, but I'm learning how to do it. And so a lot of people are not going to understand what your vision is, but don't let that discourage you. Just keep plowing forward and connect with people that have similar visions, because man, it is so energetic and it just really recharges your batteries to be around like-minded people.
Yeah, it's a lonely space in entrepreneurship and real estate, but if you're around the right kind of people, it's actually a really close-knit crowd that want to support you. And that's one thing I would say is it's a really hack into entrepreneurship, is that if you find other people that want to do what you want to do or are already investing in businesses, you fit right in. You just hop right in. It feels at home. But when it's by yourself, it's kind of lonely, and everybody's with the glazed eyes looking at you like you're crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But once you find somebody, like you said, the relationship is just invaluable. And I mean, I met my partners. It was just so random how I met my partner, but just meeting him, like we talk to each other, we get hyped up, and then also we add value to each other. And it's great. It's a great thing.
So how do you balance family life doing all of this extra side work and your 9 to 5?
Well, honestly, if it wasn't for my wife, I probably wouldn't do it very well. She makes she keeps me in check. She lets me know when I'm spending too much time on real estate, and I've kind of realized, especially with the baby coming in, that I have to definitely be more available and helping. So, but at the same time, there is, and I'm not going to lie, there are times where you do, spend hours looking at underwriting deals or looking for deals. And again, that is part of one of the things that you have to do if you're going to work your 9 to 5. But I make sure that I spend time with my kids. I play with them. I horseplay with my son. To connect with my son, I I teach him stuff. Like we do things together that I know that I can teach him something, like we've been doing boxing and Muay Thai kickboxing together and stuff. And he's getting all excited about that. And yeah. And then with my daughter, I just spend time with her doing the things that she wants to do, whether it's letting her put makeup on me or whatever.
One thing I want to hit on is marrying your spouse. Your spouse is so important in your future that it enables you to like do crazy stuff. I think if I wasn't married to my wife, I probably wouldn't be doing this because she allows me to do this.
Yeah.
But it's a give and a take. It's a give and a take on both sides. And doing entrepreneurship is a stress on your spouse and your kids because you're doing a lot of extra things. And having a spouse that understands that is really, really important. And it can make or break what you do in life. It really does. It can really make or break that. So I think that's not lightly taken because, like I said, I have my spouse allows me to help other people, and without that, like I have the freedom to do so. So and like she helps with the kids too. So it's one of those things where like it's a give and a take on both sides, and managing that and managing everything that you do with the family time. It's a challenge, but not impossible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I got to say, like, the thing that allows me to spend more time with my family and do like family game nights and stuff like that is the fact that I am utilizing somebody else's time. So really having that virtual assistant has opened up a lot of family time for me. That way I'm not doing things all the time when I get home. I only have to do them once in a while. So like, if it's the weekend and I've got to prepare like a list for her to call from, you can go on the List Guys or get a list, or you can go like on PropStream and find list and get those skip traced and get those uploaded in a CRM for her to start calling. That really doesn't take as much time as it does to call. You have to call for hours and hours before you get potential leads. So utilizing someone else's time again is very important to open up your own time and make sure that you have a good work-life balance, So it's something that I'm still learning how to do. And really my wife has been the one that kind of showed me I need to learn how to be better at that.
That's all good, man. That's all good. What is a quote that is yours or somebody else's that you resonate with?
So Tim Bratz, one of Tim Bratz's quotes is, you getting sunshine takes no sunshine away from me. And, he said, wealth is like sunshine. You getting sunshine takes no sunshine away from me. So the wealth mindset is, a lot of people feel like, and you'll see this when it comes to knowledge, like in a W-2 job too. Somebody that's good at something, but they don't want to teach somebody else how to do these things because they're worried about, they might replace me or they might, take my job from me. And so, and I feel like you have this mindset too. Like if you have a wealth mindset, you are okay with partnering, sharing information with people, trying to help other people win. And by doing so, you yourself are being fulfilled. By creating value for other people, you yourself are being fulfilled. There is so much wealth out there. You don't have to just, I'm going to keep this deal and I want this deal all for myself. I'm worried this person is going to steal this lead from me or steal these investors from me. I think it's great to get out there, network, open up to people, talk about your vision, talk about your method, talk about what you're doing, and share and bounce ideas. And don't worry, because people are going to see that and they're going to invest in you as an individual, who you are and what your mindset is. And that quote really hit me because there are so many people that are and that they're scared. That really is what it is. And so, just come from a place of abundance, have an abundance mindset, and don't worry about scarcity. Because you're going to create so much value for people, they will in return give you value back.
So much value out there.
Yeah. Well, and I say that you're a good example of that because I remember I logged into one of the calls one time, and there was a guy like on your show that was pitching his own, like basically like a CRM that was kind of trying to do what HiveMind was doing. And I was like, look at Daniel's got people on here, letting them pitch something that kind of is in competition with what he's doing, but you don't care because you don't see that as competition. You just see that as creating value for each other. And so that really comes from an abundance mindset and not a scarcity mindset. So that's one thing that I really appreciate about you. It really impressed me that you had that guy on there.
I had a call today and they're like, oh, I want to buy this. I'm like, well, what providers are you using right now? I'm like, oh, I'm using these. I'm like, if you're getting results with them, use them. I'm like, it's not, I really don't care if you use me or not.
Yeah.
Like I provide a service, but you don't have to use me. It's one of those things where like, I don't know. I'm not, if you get results, continue using the product that gets you results. I'm not going to sway or force you to do anything that you don't want to do. And when it comes down to it, I just want you to win. That's it. Mm-hmm. Whether you're winning using somebody else's product or mine, I just want you to win. That's it. Yeah. Where can people find you online? I'm going to put your email on here again. Looking for deals in the Midwest, real estate friendly states, landlord friendly states, should I say. And where can people find you online, man? What if they want to connect with you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I think I'm just Evan Scott 1983, my birthday. But yeah, I really don't have a website. I need to make a website. But yeah, I'm on Instagram. If you're on the Hive Mind, you can find me following the Hive Mind as well on Instagram. If you just type in Evan Scott. And I love connecting with people. If you have any questions on multifamily, you can reach out to me. I'd love to just, be of value if I can. I know I reached out to a lot of people, and there was a lot of people that were willing to help me and coach me. So yeah, feel free to reach out.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on. I hope you found value today. Like I said, Evan's here, 9 to 5, real estate investor, still doing it, still making it happen. Hopefully one day he'll fully transition, but he's not there yet.
Yeah.
He's not busy enough yet.
That's right.
Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. If you like this episode and like other episodes like it, go check us out, Hive Mind CRM on all platforms. Go like, subscribe, follow, do the thing. You click on the thing, hit the alarm bell, whatever it is, whatever channel you're on, go check it out. Appreciate you coming on. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy life. Enjoy life.
Thank you, Daniel. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.
The show is sponsored by The List Guys. Do you need more leads in your local or virtual market? 1 in 10 small businesses don't invest in any kind of marketing. The List Guys have over 35 plus list types to choose from, and you can mix and match any list or criteria. We also use the Skip Trace list and provide up to 7 numbers and email addresses. Every list you purchase will be scrubbed against previous purchases. The List Guys are here to save you time. Contact the List Guys today at www.onelistguys.com. That's www.1listguys.com.